I have a nightly ritual. Each night, long after the lights in my apartment have been turned off and my wife has turned in for bed, I go to take our dog outside one last time. From the street corner, there's a clear view up into the night sky, and on a clear night, the moon is always visible. I often find myself standing there, staring up at the moon, holding my thumb up in front of me to turn the moon on and off like Tom Hanks in Apollo 13. Sometime in the spring of 2022, I was on that very corner when it occurred to me that if I were standing on the moon, I could probably do the same thing to Earth. All of human history, all of everything everyone has ever cared about, turned off with the swipe of a thumb. Why should any of it even matter? A deep, sinking pit gathered in my chest that I couldn't shake, even long after I walked away from that corner. Only a few weeks later, I went to go see a little limited-release indie film that I was lucky enough to have playing in a nearby theater called Everything Everywhere All at Once. And it changed me. Everything Everywhere All at Once was born out of the mad genius of directors Daniel Kwan and Daniel Scheinert, who are commonly referred to simply as Daniels. In their early days, the duo started out with making music videos. They first exploded onto the public stage in 2014 when they created one of the most viral music videos of all time to Little John's Turn Down for What. Say hello to Oscar-winning director Daniel Kwan. The music video space was a uniquely powerful environment for the Daniels to develop their style. It's no secret that music videos are a place for directors to truly go crazy, but even early on, Daniels had a talent for somehow taking the insane and grounding it in a deep emotional center. It's a skill that is the envy of many writers and directors, and is an exceptionally hard balance to strike. One wacky idea too many, and the emotional buy-in of an audience can be ruined. When they finally stepped up to bat at making their first major feature film, the result was Swiss Army Man. The film's premise alone, a suicidal man stranded on an island who befriends Daniel Radcliffe's sentient, flatulent corpse and then uses it to try to survive on and escape said island, was enough to have that effect on its own. Upon viewing, however, there was something else going on under the hood, a heartfelt movie about the absurdity of death and the joy of life in the face of hopelessness. The film was the genesis of something truly transcendent. Daniels had begun scraping together ideas of a film centered around multiverses as early as 2010. By the time the film was picked up by Studio A24 in 2020, the script called for a film that broke convention in almost every way. True to their powerful creative vision, the Daniels had to create a comedic, universe-hopping kung fu action family drama, all for a budget of $14.3 million. This was in direct competition with Marvel's huge multiverse-centered movie, Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, which would end up releasing less than a month after Everything Everywhere in 2022 and had a budget of $200 million. One of those two films would go on to be the most awarded film of all time, and it wasn't Marvel up on the Oscar stage in March. The question is, how did the Daniels achieve this given their tiny budget? Well, first of all, the Daniels are no strangers to small budgets, as mentioned earlier. But second of all, the most easily apparent thing going for the film was that the cast is simply phenomenal. The unlikely protagonist Evelyn, a middle-aged Chinese immigrant who is struggling to keep her relationships together while also managing her business and taxes, is played by legendary actress and martial artist Michelle Yeoh. Michelle brings the performance of a lifetime to a role that feels like she was always meant to play. Evelyn's husband Waymond, a kind and gentle man who feels that he is the only one holding up a dying relationship with his wife, is played by Ke Huy Quan of Indiana Jones and Goonies fame, and brings absolute perfection to his role. Ke had been out of acting for 20 years when he started in this film, and is easily the best performance on screen. Evelyn's daughter, Joy, is played by Stephanie Hsu, a young woman whose relationship with her mother is strained to the breaking point due to her mother's inability to fully understand and accept Joy and her sexuality, and Joy's own mental health and inability to understand her mom. The grandfather of the family, Gong Gong, a cold and grumpy old man who hasn't ever grown to understand his own daughter Evelyn, is played by Hollywood veteran James Hong. Finally, Jamie Lee Curtis completely envelops the character of Deirdre, the tax auditor from hell whose presence weighs over the entire family. Their performances are significantly more impressive when you consider that all of them also had to play alternate universe variants of their characters, most notably Ke Huy Quan as Alpha Waymond and Stephanie Hsu as Jobu Tupaki. It was a number of strokes of genius that took that talented cast and placed them in a multiversal adventure. For a film that visits multiple universes, you may expect numerous filming locations. However, with the exception of a few pickup shots, the entire film was filmed at an abandoned office building, including the family apartment set. The set work on the film is impressive, using a clever layering technique to minimize the impact on the budget. Production designer Jason Kisvarde designed sets so that the level of detail tapered off the further away from camera you are. The easiest example of this is during the tax office scenes, where the foreground featured fully realized cubicles full of personality, but cubicles far in the background featured nothing but simple pieces of taped black paper to look like computer monitors. But even with well-designed sets, the film still needed a clear way to depict different universes. The Daniels knew they had to make each universe look and feel distinct, as well as needed to signify when someone from an alternate universe was on screen. Without the budget or desire to create CG environments, Daniels decided to portray universes through the language of genre. We as viewers are all subconsciously aware of film genres, having been exposed to them through watching decades of filmmakers at work. Even if we can't always explicitly identify the differences, we always feel them. Take this shot near the beginning of the film, for example. In the film, characters can borrow skills from alternate versions of themselves from other universes. In this scene, Alpha Waymond is planning on doing just that to learn Kung Fu and fight off some security guards. Here, Daniels employ their genre-bending tactics to signify to us that Waymond has adopted the powers of another universe. Did you catch it? You might not have, but you probably did feel it, something visually shifting. That shift was Daniels switching from an aspect ratio of 1:85:1, a standard from drama films, to the more cinematic ultra-wide 2:39:1, and an anthropomorphic lens. The wider aspect ratio is a standard size for action films because it allows for more action to be shown on screen at once. Suddenly you feel as if we have left the drama behind us and are in an action movie, and that's because you now are. This is but one of many tricks Daniels uses to communicate information about other universes in the movie. In their own words, they pulled every filmmaking trick out of the book. The universes in Everything Everywhere are in fact the multiverse of film itself that we call genre, subtly but effectively conveyed through clever mimicry of films that the Daniels love. There are so many other incredible feats of budget movie making that brought this film together. The VFX team was a group of only 5 people who learned how to do VFX off YouTube. The fight choreographers were the guys from the Marshall Club YouTube channel, and there were tons of awesome practical effects done for the movie. But great films don't just look good. Great films take you on an emotional journey that leave you with something more than you came with. Everything Everywhere is a movie that has to be felt and not just seen. Explaining the plot to someone who hasn't seen it would likely do little to explain what makes it so special. The journey that the audience takes mimics Evelyn's own journey through the film. As she's exposed to more and more of the multiverse, the stakes get higher and the universes get stranger. Slowly, the plot and visuals of the film work to overwhelm the viewer, just as Jobu Tupaki tries to overwhelm Evelyn. Jobu Tupaki is not the true antagonist of the film, though. She's actually just another victim. The antagonist is chaos itself, and the empty feeling that comes when the scale of the multiverse grows both beyond Evelyn's and the viewer's grasp. Jobu is just Evelyn's daughter Joy, already lost in the feeling that existence is nonsensical and meaningless, hoping beyond hope that her mom can prove her wrong. There is a tool to cut through the noise, though, something that Evelyn learns from her kind husband Waymond. That tool is empathy, and it's how Evelyn learns to face up to her father, appreciate her husband, and accept her daughter. By empathizing with the characters, it's also how we, as viewers, can watch 2 rocks on screen with nothing but text for dialogue and still enjoy a peaceful moment between a mother and daughter. And so the film makes empathy our tool to cut through its noise as well. Finally, at the end of the journey the film has taken us and Evelyn on, she uses that tool of empathy to help her daughter feel what it is the film wants to leave the viewers with. Meaning. Real, palpable meaning. There is meaning in being with our loved ones, and in the moments we get to love them, even when we feel unimportant and small. It was a beautiful reminder for me, one I sorely needed way back in that spring of 2022. I think Everything Everywhere All at Once became the most awarded film of all time because many others needed it too. Thanks for watching. Hey everyone, thanks for watching my video on Everything Everywhere All at Once. I am really passionate about this movie, so it was a ton of fun to make, so thanks for coming by and checking out what is now my second ever video. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like, it really helps my channel out, and additionally, if you leave a comment, I'll make sure to once again try to reply to any that I get. Next video I'm going to be talking about what is probably my favorite pure action film I've seen in a long time. It's John Wick Chapter 4, which just came out this year in 2023. So if you want to see that video when it comes out, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Also, I just wanted to thank everyone who came and watched my last video on Dune. I never expected the support that it got, and I'm just so thankful to have people watching and enjoying stuff that I've made. Additionally, I wanted to thank my buddy Parker Hamrick, who has been teaching me how to edit on the fly while also filming everything that you saw in this video, including this outro. So I'm going to go ahead and link his YouTube channel below. Go and check him out. If you haven't seen Everything Everywhere All at Once, I can't possibly recommend it any higher. It's an awesome, awesome film. So bring your box of tissues on your trip through the multiverse. We'll see you on the next video.